Yeah, well... Sensing that I wanted to say something, they both stopped eating. Before I knew it, I blurted out the forbidden words. Well, because my food always gets tampered with. It doesn't look messed with on the surface today, so I'm scared it might taste awful.
Hey, don't say that.
You can't say the truth, Sheila. What? They panicked at my comment. What's going on? They must have noticed my food getting tampered with, right? It's always been like that, so they shouldn't be freaking out now. Mom can't cook. If we tell the truth, it'll just upset her. Huh? I'm left dumbfounded, looking at the flustered Jane. Teresa was standing right behind her, her face pale and trembling.
Shoot! Mom!
Zach was speechless. Then Teresa exploded. You disrespectful kids, saying I can't cook. Fine, I won't feed you guys anymore.
Well, honestly, it's better if you don't,
Zach said, seemingly resigned. Yeah, especially when we have guests over. We can just order in or something. Jane chimed in, agreeing. While I was stunned, Corey enlightened me.
You see, Teresa, she's catastrophically bad at cooking. We even had a big fight once, and she stormed out of the house.
Apparently she had a unique sense of flavor and was completely oblivious to it. It was even worse back when Zach was a child because she tried to get creative. While Corey silently endured it out of kindness, the kids couldn't take it. It was when they demanded better food that Teresa stormed out for a week. They managed to coax her back somehow, but it took a lot of apologizing from everyone. Since then, the food had improved somewhat, with everyone praising her and gently discouraging her from making any adjustments. Still, judging from her smirk whenever I removed peels and shells from my food, she must have intentionally added them. But I thought it was just another form of harassment. Bad-tasting dishes were unaltered. Since everyone else was eating the same kind of bad food, they didn't think I was being targeted. Apparently, it wasn't uncommon for vegetable peels or eggshells to end up in dishes back then, and everyone just thought she just made a mistake as she had to cook more food than usual. Finally, it all made sense. No wonder they didn't realize I was being harassed. There was a more fundamental issue at play. I was grateful that they warned her for me, even though it might have angered her. I remembered mentioning to Zach that I felt like I was being harassed by Teresa, but my concerns were dismissed as overthinking. At that time, I thought he wasn't reliable, but maybe he was just thinking.
You're overthinking it. Her food has always been bad.
Watching the family drama unfold, the relatives chuckled, saying, we couldn't mention it, but it looks like everyone was thinking the same thing. With alcohol fueling their words, they were quite blunt. Teresa's face turned beet red as she went insane. So you've all been thinking my cooking is bad all this time? No one answered her question, avoiding eye contact. The silence spoke volumes. It's not true, right? It's not bad, right? Sheila's dishes were just slightly altered. Her food was intentionally bad, but my usual cooking should be good. Come on, guys. Say something. She shouted, her voice getting louder, but everyone just kept their heads down, sipping their drinks in silence. It felt more like a funeral than Christmas. More importantly, in her rage, she inadvertently confessed to sabotaging my food.
Maybe your taste buds are beyond saving, but seriously, stop dressing like a teenager. Maybe try looking at yourself objectively, Mom.
Indeed. You should realize you're being laughed at by the neighbors. Jane added more to Zach's comments and sighed. They only fueled the fire, and Teresa's face turned dark red. Who gave you birth? What did you just say to your mother?
No, it's not about that anymore. There are things you could and should say to your parents.
Zach's words were met with nods from Jane and a troubled expression from Corey. You guys are mocking me. I'm still in my 50s, still young. Stop treating me like an old lady.
Again, it's not about that. Jeez, you're so hard-headed. I don't want to nitpick your fashion choices, but maybe think about toning it down a bit.
Zach let out a big sigh. The relatives seemed to agree, laughing awkwardly. What's the matter with you and Sheila, treating me like an old lady? As the furious Teresa angrily stomped her right foot on the ground, Corey quietly approached and said,
Anyway, I apologize to Sheila for harassing her.
If she stayed silent, it would have been dismissed as the usual crappy cooking. There was no way to hide the fact that she tampered with my food. Teresa seemed to realize she slipped up just then, and her face turned from red to white as a sheet in a second.
It was just a mistake,
she stammered.
Whether it was a mistake or not, it doesn't change the fact that you did something wrong. Why on earth did you resort to such harassment?
Well...
It's probably because of that, right? Sheila suggested you wear more mature clothes or something. Of course she would. Flashy clothes just don't suit you, you know? That's what they call overreacting.
Unable to protest, Teresa remained pale, looking down. Corey sighed again, saying,
Geez, just for that.
At that moment, she erupted.
What do you mean just for that? No matter how close we are, I'm still her mother-in-law. Treating me like an old lady is just rude.
She didn't treat you like an old lady. She just suggested what might suit you.
That's definitely not what she meant. She was looking down on me thinking young fashion doesn't suit me. I'm not apologizing to her.
She pouted childishly, turning away in defiance. Needless to say, everyone was exasperated by her immature behavior. In the end, feeling uncomfortable, the relatives quietly left that day. We also decided to cancel our stay and return home. On January 3rd, Corey called and dropped the bombshell out of the blue.
Teresa and I are separating.
After that incident, he had a long, earnest conversation with the unrepentant Teresa, hoping to make her see reason. But instead of admitting her faults, she became even more defiant, accusing him of being cold and not measuring up to a good husband's standards. That was the last straw for the usually gentle Corey, and they ended up deciding to live separately. It took about half a year for Teresa to finally reflect on her actions. When she came to apologize to me, she also asked if we could help patch things up between her and Corey.
If you're only apologizing to her to get on Dad's good side, then forget it. We won't help and we won't forgive you.
Zach shut her down immediately. She tried enlisting Jane's help too.
I doubt he'll change his mind because he's really furious. You two should try to work it out yourselves.
She was met with a firm refusal. In the end, she was left isolated and couldn't change Corey's mind. About half a year later, they finalized their divorce. Her luck must have run out by upsetting Corey, who cherished her despite her bad cooking. With no savings as a stay-at-home wife, she tried to rely on Jane. But around the same time as her divorce, Jane got married and refused to live with her, as her husband didn't like the idea. Well, I guess that's understandable. As for us, Zach was still mad at her, so we didn't take her in. Currently, she's living with her younger sister, with whom she's had a bad relationship since childhood. She's been given what can only be described as a leaky, drafted shed, not a proper room. I feel a bit sorry for her, but like they say, what goes around comes around. On the other hand, I've given birth to 2 kids and have been working on toning up my post-pregnancy body with home workouts. I've been doing jump rope with the kids, and let me tell you, they have endless energy. Playing with them has naturally helped me shed some weight. Now, I'm just focusing on firming up my face with some serum. Zach has been consistently a loving husband since then. On weekends, he takes us hiking, and sometimes when he manages to get a weekday off, we sneak in a date while the kids are out. It feels a little awkward and embarrassing to go on dates nowadays, but it's still nice to be treated like a woman. I hope we can continue holding hands and going for walks together no matter how old we get.